You're here
Butchering that theme
with
song, right?
us. The Source Wall every Wednesday 7:30ish. Issue 40. I don't know why I said it in an American accent, but 40. Okay, 40. Issue 40 with us, the Source
Issue
Warriors.
40, shouty.
Boldly
Yes, sir.
you know. Thank you again for joining us. Sean in the comments, know you're here. All the ghost listeners, we
Yes, sir.
appreciate you.
Are all the Sean's here? All three of them? Or is it just the
I
one?
hope
Which one is
so.
it? Let us know.
We got a Sean, we got a Chris. Yeah.
What
Uh,
Sean is it?
um,
Shawnee B's out to dinner or whatever, isn't he? Enjoy your lunch or whatever. All right,
he's
cool.
out to dinner.
I
See
don't
what
know
your
this
priorities
Shawnee,
are.
but hi, Shawnee.
How's everyone doing?
We're good.
Cool,
We're tired.
man. Blessed.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gizzard in the Hizzard.
it's taken us 40 issues, but we're finally here.
We've been talking about it for the longest.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, today's gonna be a good podcast. This is rant level extinction event. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
let's start.
We're about to Thanos that movie.
Yeah, man. But let's start off with quick news. Actually, let's quickly review something. Did you want to review comic?
Yeah, sure. So Green Arrow 45. I know it's a bit late because I think 46 is out now. But I had to read it, Green Arrow 45, which was Roy Harper, aka Speedy, aka Red Arrow, aka Arsenal. It was his funeral. It was a funeral issue. So it had like some of the Titans there, except Wally West wasn't there because he's dead, and Nightwing wasn't there because he was in a coma. Like DC just.
Sorry to interrupt, but in case anyone didn't know, this is a spoiler show. So yeah.
I feel like every show we do is a spoiler show, but carry on because everybody's dead.
Hang on a sec. I'm giving you all a preemptive spoiler from this issue onwards. So if you haven't read it, don't watch it live. Watch it afterwards. After we put it up. All right, back to the comic. It was sick. No, it actually made me sad. Like I comic characters die all the time, and this is the first time I actually feel like I'm mourning characters. Obviously that being Wally West and Roy Harper.
Yeah.
Roy Harper was really trying to turn his life around with his addiction, and he went to Sanctuary to get help. I think his last mission was with, as far as I know, was with Jason Todd. They were after this drug thing that he's been chasing since Titans, so like connected from that. And it just had people like Donna Troy and Green Arrow do eulogies at his funeral. And Green Arrow was really kicking himself. It showed their history together, even the part where, like a flash, they kind of changed Roy's origin, where that classic scene of where Green Arrow and Green Lantern find him injecting himself.
Yeah. But
the way they did it this time is that they were looking for Roy and they thought he was in danger, and then it turned out he was just hiding out somewhere taking drugs. And instead of being the sensitive mentor, Green Arrow basically just, dying to bust up right now. Like, what is it?
No, just the way you were like, nah, this man was just out taking drugs, in it. I was like, oh, bless. He's like, he needs a cuddle, bless. Go ahead.
Basically, yeah, no, that's the funny thing. That's what he needed. It was a cuddle, but Green Arrow was so harsh on him, and he feels like he more than anyone looked after Roy. But when he's going back and looking at their history together, he realized even the last time he saw Green Arrow, he saw Roy. He was like, I'll talk to him later, and then he just realized, but he actually came to me for help, and I just ignored him because I was busy trying to fight whatever the cases was. It was a really touching issue. It had even Green Arrow's like, why did he even pick this? It's so Roy to pick this random place to have his funeral. Yeah. And then it had this girl that Roy met at AA saying, this isn't random. This is the place where he realized he wanted to go clean. And he remembered, I think it was a philosophy from Confucius, but I can't remember what it was because I don't have the book with me. it was just a really, really touching issue. If you can go out and get Green Arrow issue 45, go for it. It's worth the read. I don't even read Green Arrow often, chronologically, sorry, or however you say it. I just picked it up because I knew it was Roy's funeral, and it was really, really touching.
Oh.
So
this is a continuation from Heroes in Crisis.
Yeah. Somebody real quick on Instagram pointed something out to me that everyone is making a big deal out of Roy Harper's death, but nobody is talking about the fact that Wally West died.
Yeah.
So
there's nothing in there.
The theory is that Wally might not be dead.
Ugh.
So that's the theory going around. So we'll see.
We'll find out this week or next week.
Just crossing everything.
All right, so I'm just gonna say quickly that I watched Titans. Titans was pretty good, man. It was pretty good. It's a lot more violent than most things you see on TV nowadays. Yeah, I mean, if you can watch it, go ahead and watch it, because it's a bit slow. I must say, it was a bit slow, but it's kind of introducing characters. Not everyone is in it for a long time. but yeah, one thing actually, Starfire.
Okay.
Yeah, she's actually pretty good, and yeah, I think she's probably the best character in it at the moment. Yeah, don't just look at the pictures and think, oh, what's she dressed like that for? What's this and what's that? She's actually pretty good in it. So I'm looking forward to seeing her story develop. You kind of get where Dick Grayson's coming from. I know he's a bit more angry, but he has a reason to be. He has a reason to be, and I'm sure that what they're trying to do in this is kind of bring him down to a pace where he's kind of more calm, because now that obviously he's the Teen Titans, he's got a job to do, kind of thing. So yeah, definitely check it out if you can.
Nice.
Episode 2 should be out on Friday, so yeah, check it. Nice. It's good.
Thumbs up from Fourth Wall.
Real quick from you racists out there.
Yeah.
So you racists out there, Starfire is an orange, fiery-headed girl from another planet.
Alien.
She's an alien. She's not Caucasian, white, or whatever. She's an orange girl. So get over it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Paulus, I'm just gonna quickly go through some titles. A lot of Marvel here, but a couple of surprises. We've got Shuri issue 1 coming out today.
Yeah, fun that.
Following the footsteps of the Black Panther, the world fell in love with her in a movie. Now the Black Panther's techno-genius sister launches her own adventures. Written by best-selling Afro-futurist author Nendai Okorafor, and drawn by I've probably butchered that big time. And drawn by Eisner-nominated artist Leonardo Romero. The Black Panther has disappeared, lost on a mission in space. And that book is actually pretty good. And in his absence, everyone's looking at the next in line for the throne. But Shuri is happiest in the lab, surrounded by gadgets of her own creation. She'd rather be testing gauntlets than throwing them. But a nation without a leader is a vulnerable one, and Shuri may have to choose between Wakanda's welfare and her own. Second book is X-Men Black Mystique issue 1. X-Men Black's been pretty good. Last week I spoke about Magneto. I just actually read the Mojo one, which was actually a bit of a surprise, and again is a good one. This one's Mystique. That's So Raven. What's the day in the life of Raven Darkhold, aka Mystique? Brutal kills, revenge-filled chills, seductive thrills, and that's all before breakfast. Award-winning author Shannon McGuire, X-Men Gold Annual number 2, and rising star Marco Fela take Marvel's multifaceted Mutant Murderess for a spin. Okay, and also you got part 3 of X-Men Black Apocalypse in there, and that story is actually really good as well.
X-Men Black Apocalypse part 3 already.
Yeah, because at the end of all of these books, you've got a little section with an apocalypse story.
Okay.
So part 1 was at the end of Magneto, and part 2 was at the end of Mojo. Number 3, American Gods, obviously by Neil Gaiman. On Dark Horse Comics, as Shadow follows Wednesday around the country, he eventually finds himself face to face with Laura, who lays down some difficult truths about the time she was alive and with him. The Hugo, Bram Stoker, Locus, World Fantasy, and Nebula award-winning novel and hit Stars television series by Neil Gaiman is adapted as a comic series. So yeah, that TV program is actually pretty good.
Yeah, can't wait for
season coming out soon. The trailer's gonna drop on our book. Just check it out. So,
yeah, man, definitely. Lucifer issue 1 from DC Comics. Lucifer is missing, having embarked on a dangerous journey to find the mother of his abandoned son. The Prince of Lies finds himself imprisoned and crippled by mysterious forces who seek to torment him for their own terrible ends. Meanwhile, a car is crashed, 2 witches blind themselves, and Tumor speaks its first word, and the perfectly good bowl of oatmeal is left for to go cold.
Loving the metaphors out here, people.
Yeah. Batman 57. This has been pretty good as well. Tom King and Tony S. Daniel. The KG Beast isn't working alone as the Cold War between Batman and the Russian killer heats up. Batman's nose for mystery gets to twitching when he suspects there's more to the KG Beast attack than initially thought. Not only does this tie back to the court case Bruce Wayne sat on involving Mr. Freeze, there's another villainous Gotham ghoul in play, but whom? This sounds good, man. It sounds good, especially if you've been reading Batman. There's a lot of things going on and a lot of stories that's been happening and it hasn't actually finished yet. So I'm starting to think everything's I'm starting to think everything's coming up to a boiling point. And last one, East of West. This one's a new story arc. These Brothers of Destiny, the army of the prophet masses preparing to conquer the world. So yeah, I might start reading this. I've always been meaning to read East of West, and
Antoine's always going on about it. He's been going on about it for what up, Antoine? He's been going on about it for time, so
yeah,
should give it a shot. And
all right, let's quickly get through the newsy woozy. Sorry that this is a bit rushed because we want to get through this bit and then we can start talking about X-Men. But for now,
go ahead.
Yeah, for now, Guardians of the Galaxy comic news. Basically, there's a new poster out that's got pictures of loads of characters from the Marvel universe, and basically the comics teasing that only 5 of the people on that roster will be the new Guardians of the Galaxy. Sorry,
what happened to the old Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh man, you've been reading Infinity Wars, right?
No, man. I've got issue 1 and 2, and then I kind of fell off. I went to Barbados, and I forgot to buy the.
Okay. Well, they're all fighting for the gauntlet at the moment. But yeah, so the teaser adds Silver Surfer, Groot, Star-Lord, and Adam Warlock to the lineup. Yeah, only 6 of the revealed characters will be part of the final team. So they added Silver Surfer, Groot, Star-Lord, and Adam Warlock. And they also include Darkhawk, Gladiator, Phyla Vale, Nova, Moondragon, and Beta Ray Bill. So yeah, yeah, man.
That's the dream squad.
Beta Ray Bill. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, that team sounds pretty mad. And Beta Ray Bill is actually back in Death of Inhumans, which is it's been pretty sick actually. So
Death of Inhumans.
Yes.
Right. So after years of ramming them down our throats, they're now killing off the Inhumans. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, yeah, but
Right.
I think it's coming close to the end. But it has actually been good. It has really been good.
I bet it has.
It had to be, because the TV show wasn't.
It's not even just a TV show. It's even how they were just ramming like comic books down our faces as well and trying to make them the new X-Men. And anyways, I digress. Kill all the Inhumans.
Kill the Inhumans.
Except Miss Marvel. Yeah.
Well,
Khan, that is.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, last week we spoke a bit about James Gunn, and this week it's actually official. He is officially writing Suicide Squad 2.
He's got a lot to do.
It's just. I'm down with him being on the DC Warner Brothers umbrella, but why that movie? Couldn't he have done anything else?
Because it was so bad.
Yeah, and it was actually supposed to be DC's version of Guardians. You know, they tried to
say
music and
yeah.
I was gonna say he does suit that team, I suppose, is what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I think he's gonna reboot it.
Probably.
Sorry, say again, Isha?
No, I was like, he definitely wouldn't touch Justice League because he's like, no, that's in you know what I mean, Sugar Honey Iced Tea's Creek. But like
I think that's actually I've been hearing that's all cancelled actually. Well, I couldn't find anything solid on it, but I've been hearing Cavill and Affleck is out. But yeah, like I said, I couldn't find anything solid.
I was hearing rumors that they're going to try and focus on Supergirl as well, which I think is a bad idea. But anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alfred. They've cast Alfred. They've actually cast Alfred.
I hate to rant about this.
And Thomas Wayne as well. So, yeah.
Right.
Say is swipe left and keep it moving. Go ahead, Red Hood.
Right. I know this is a TV. This is like a series, isn't it? Like 1 hour, but it's still the exact same thing as doing an Aunt May movie. Do we really need a TV show or a movie about Alfred Pennyworth? Don't get me wrong. With Bruce Wayne and Batman, when he's in that kind of dynamic, he's great. Like, it serves a purpose. I don't need to know how he got with the Waynes, what his relationship was with Thomas Wayne. It's unnecessary. And if we, at the very least, you put it in the comic book in like a flashback that relates to what Batman's getting up to at that time in the comics, but he doesn't need a whole series. All
right, let me speak. Let me read the description, the series description. So basically, it says the 10-episode, 1 hour drama series is based on DC characters created by Bob Kane and with Bill Finger. I beg to differ. Bill Finger with Bob Kane. It follows Bruce Wayne's legendary butler, Alfred Pennyworth, a former British SAS soldier in his 20s, who forms a security company and goes to work with a young billionaire, Thomas Wayne, who's not yet Bruce's father in 1960s London. The description of Alfred Pennyworth. Alfred Pennyworth is a boyishly handsome, cheerful, charming, clever young man from London, honest, open-faced and witty. You'd never take him for an SAS killer. Alfred doesn't know how to reconcile the kind-hearted boy he used to be with the cold, calculated killer he was forced to become. He's a man on the make who doesn't know what to make of himself yet.
You know what they do, right? Sorry, go on. Finish. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. Also, we've got a Thomas Wayne description. A young, fresh-faced billionaire hailing from the East Coast of the United States, confident and extremely disciplined. This young aristocrat meets an unlikely business partner in Alfred Pennyworth.
You know what they're gonna do, right? They're gonna do this story where Alfred and Batman's dad are going to be like, oh, we need to change the city, and we've got all these ideas, and let's put them together. And then my man gets murked off, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to pass all this down to your son. That's basically what they're going to do. That's basically what they are going to do. You're gonna have Alfred and Batman's dad running around trying to do little vigilante stuff, and then they come together, make the cave. Man gets murked by Joker or whoever he gets murked by, and then he passes it all down to his son, and then that's it.
So
that's the movie.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think Stills and Sean Davis is right as well. Basically, Sean's saying, Chris is saying, wait, so this is a prequel, like before Gotham. Sean's saying it's set before Gotham, but not connected. But it is actually kind of connected to Gotham because Ben Aldridge, Ben Aldridge is cast as Thomas Wayne. It is Bruno Heller, who serves as Gotham's showrunner. He's actually producing it.
Right. It won't be the Joker. I think Isha's on point, but it won't be the Joker. It will be some kind of big let's say Falcone or somebody, but
yeah.
Joe Chill will be working for Falcone, and by the end of it, you know, little Bruce and Martha and Thomas are walking down the alley after seeing Zorro, and then Joe Chill pops around the corner, and then there you go, and then he's like, no. I will smell vengeance upon thee. And then there you go. I ain't trying to watch that. I might watch the last episode.
I get upset like Smallville, yeah.
That's it.
I think I said he's producing it. I think he's actually going to be the showrunner. So.
Oh, the showrunner.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have all the villains in there.
Man.
We're gonna have them all. We're gonna have the Joker, Penguin, Fish Mooney, even though she's made up. Scarecrow, God, Croc, and Harley will be there, but she won't be Harley, but she will be Harley.
Yeah. Sean Davis, apparently his friend is cast in the show. So well done to your friend.
Yeah.
See if we can get an interview, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know me. I'll always check this stuff out, even if it is something like Gotham.
Hush will be in there for some reason.
Yeah, but something that none of us will ever check out anymore is Iron Fist.
Dead.
Oh, I was so happy.
I am happy for that, but I think so what I'm guessing is that they're gonna do a joint thing with himself and Luke Cage, Heroes for Hire or Power Man and Iron Fist, like Chris is saying, it could actually go to Disney because of their streaming service. I think it's either one of those things. They're either gonna continue the contract with Netflix and do Heroes for Hire show, or they're going to cut it all off and just put him on the Disney show. I think the doing the show is better, because I don't think, even if it is on Disney, Iron Fist show by itself is not going to work.
Yeah, I'm hoping that, because I was actually because of the way it ended, I was like, that got me excited. So yeah, I like Iron Fist. Whatever, I'm the part of the minority. I don't care. I'm hoping that they put him with Luke Cage, because I don't think it will work with the streaming service, and I don't like the idea of watching Jessica Jones. They've built this universe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't like the idea of they're always talking about each other, and then all of a sudden there's no Danny Rand.
Yeah.
It just looks bad. It's untidy, and so I think it'd be better if they just get Luke Cage to fix up whatever his problem is.
Yeah.
And then just put him with Danny Rand. I think, and they've hinted at it. I think it'll be so much fun. I think it would make for a better show to have this kind of like buddy comedy kind of show.
Yeah. Definitely. So, well, this is their statement, and you can pretty much tell in their statement. Marvel's Iron Fist will not return for a third season on Netflix.
Okay.
Everyone at Marvel Television and Netflix is proud of the series and grateful for all of the hard work from our incredible cast, crew, and showrunners. So they're proud of this series, so they know people don't like it. We're thankful to the fans who have watched these 2 seasons. We're thankful for the people who committed their time to watch these 2 very questionable seasons, and for the partnership we've shared on this series. While the series on Netflix has ended, the immortal Iron Fist will live on. So, you know, I don't think it's.
I think Marvel are gonna pull all of their shows from Netflix anyway.
I think they will.
Disney are just pulling everything from Netflix. And it's just their own service. So
yeah, I think it depends on what they because I'm sure they would have had a few contract, like a maybe a few seasons contracts. Like maybe they've got like, I don't know, 10, 15 seasons between the shows, not necessarily knowing what shows are what. It's not like 3 seasons for that, 3 seasons for this. And maybe they've seen that Iron Fist isn't doing well. It's done a bit better than the first season, I think, maybe. But then it's not good enough for the third, so maybe they're going to switch things up. And I think that's probably why they did. Because this season wasn't, even though it was Iron Fist, it was more like Misty Knight and Colin Wing.
Daughters of the Dragon.
Yeah, exactly.
Daughters of the Dragon, yeah.
Yeah. So I reckon that will probably, even that could probably spin off into a series itself.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Ready.
Oh well.
Bye.
Yeah. Lastly, Ryan Coogler is on board to write and direct Black Panther sequel, which we pretty much knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
He's the guy who did the last one, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, then whatever. Wakanda forever.
Cool.
Yeah. Wakanda forever. I want to know where he's taking this story though, because Black Panther's dead.
He's not. Jeez,
wait. Black Panther is in the void with Lady Death, waiting for his soul to be reconnected to his unimaginably flaky, ashy body. Okay, there we go.
Do you know there was a theory? Actually, it was my girl's son. He had this theory that all the ones that disappeared aren't even the ones that are dead, which I thought was a pretty good theory. It was the ones that stayed behind that are the ones that are dead. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Because all the ones that disappeared are the ones that are getting sequels. So
yeah. You know? I wouldn't be surprised if everyone's just dead. They won't come back or whatnot. But then they just do a whole, wishful thinking anyway. They just do a whole reset, like a universal reset, or they do maybe move things over into another universe.
What, take it from 616 to
616.
They're in 1610. So move them to 1610 to 616. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
You geeky people. And true, they're doing a Black Panther movie, but it doesn't. Remember the Black Panther. Doesn't have to be.
I mean, Parker died, and they.
Yeah, I was gonna say, explain Spider-Man Far From Home or wherever it's called.
Yeah,
you know Tom Holland's doing that movie. Unless it is that's Tom Holland. That's Tom Holland from 616.
It could be Ben Reilly.
There you go. Man's like, I'm not commenting on that. Not commenting.
Yeah.
Yes, but yeah, I'd be interested to know where they're going to take Black Panther now and who it's going to be, and you know what I mean. So
yeah,
I think we'll get a tease. Say that the first 10, 20 minutes of Shuri as Black Panther, just to tease the fans.
Yeah, and
then maybe T'Challa comes home and it's like, all right, sis, you can take it off now. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll find out soon.
We will keep you posted.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, so yeah, that's it for the news for now.
Okay.
Let's get on to the.
Also, real quick. Friday. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Friday. Get you some.
Yeah. Make sure you're at home. Got your Netflix up.
Yeah. Pay your bill, man.
Yeah. This season looks good, man. The review trailer looks good.
Yeah, can't wait for that.
I'm not watching any more trailers. I'm just going in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It does look good. But what doesn't look good or didn't look good?
It looked good at the time.
It looked good at the time. Yeah,
Dream.
we was all happy.
Yeah.
It was something new.
And then and when we found out they were Decepticons, and our life slowly crumbled before us. There you go.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, so if you don't know, we're going to be talking about X-Men from 2000, X-Men 1, Bryan Singer, directed by Bryan Singer, produced by Lauren Schuler Donner. I think she's actually related to the Superman director, Richard Donner. I could be mistaken though. And Ralph Winter. The screenplay was by David Hayter. Yes, the David Hayter.
The David Hayter. Snake.
Solid Snake.
Snake. This is Snake. Otacon.
Yeah, you're ready for all this trash talking I'm about to do.
Yeah. Story by Tom DeSanto and Bryan Singer. Starring Patrick Stewart, Hugh Jackman, Ian McKellen, Harry Berry. Halle Berry.
Oh, Halle Berry.
Yeah.
Oh, that was back when she was Halle Berry.
Yeah. Famke Janssen, James Marsden, Bruce Davison, Rebecca Romijn Stamos, Ray Park, Anna Paquin. Yeah, this is X-Men. Budget of 75 million, and the box office came in at 296.3 million.
Made its money.
Made its money back and some.
Made its money back. They got paid.
Yeah. So where did you guys watch this, and what was your first feeling about it?
Sorry, wait, what was the question?
When do you remember when you watched it, and what was your?
Yeah, I saw it in the cinema. I saw it in the cinema for the first time because come on, it's the X-Men.
Yeah,
I was excited, and I was thinking, finally, I'm going to see Wolverine on the big screen. Yeah, I'm a Wolverine fan. I know it's generic, but whatever. And I just remember watching it, thinking it was like the best thing ever. That's what's funny about it, because I think all we had at the time was probably Blade. But I only knew Blade from like the Spider-Man cartoon.
Yeah,
and a lot of people, even to this day, that I've had conversations with, didn't even know that Blade was like comic books, was Marvel.
Yeah.
So you know, it's like it almost doesn't count. But I saw it in the cinema for the first time. I loved it. Loved it at the time.
Yeah, at the time.
At the time.
What about you guys?
I too watched it in the cinema. I believed I watched it with my dad. Yeah, we went to the cinema and we watched it, and I at the time thought it was okay. But you know me, in my X-Men, there are 3 people I need to see all the time in X-Men. I never see. And that was Jean, Storm, and Rogue. And I got Jean. And I got Storm. And Rogue was a child. So
yeah.
Like, I was happy with Patrick Stewart as Professor X.
Yeah, I mean, who else would you get?
Exactly. There's no one else.
Actually, I think, did I write it down? No. So basically, there was a comic. I think it was a novel actually, and it was a crossover between X-Men and Star Trek: The Next Generation. And they actually, this was before X-Men as well, and they actually described Xavier having the same physique as
John Picard.
Yeah, so this kind of influenced the casting, and he was the only choice for it as well. So
yeah, I watched an interview with him last year or early this year when he was talking about how he got the role, and somebody he had a meeting and somebody handed him an issue of the X-Men, and he said, "Why am I on the cover of this comic book?" So that was that.
Yeah.
I think every geek as well. I think when we've been reading the comics and watching the TV shows, like we've seen actors, and I think just universally everybody was like, he has to be Jean. He has to be, you know what I mean? He has to be Professor Xavier.
Yeah.
Like, Angela Bassett. She just was Storm. She never got to be, but like,
Yeah,
most people said she was Storm. You know what I mean? So I think we'd cast characters like long before the films actually came out. So when I did see that he was, you know what I mean, Xavier, I was like, yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I think everyone was happy. I think that's what made me look forward to the film. Like, no, because I've always been a Trek. Well, not always been a Trekkie, but since Next Generation, I've been a Trekkie, and seeing Patrick Stewart being Xavier, I was like, whoa, yeah, nice, wicked. But you know, like I said, I was happy for the film. The first time I watched it, and even rewatching it the other night as well, I kind of got I had the same feelings I had when I first watched it. Like, you'd watch some bits and you'd be like, oh, wicked this, but then why isn't this happening, or why isn't that happening?
Ooh, man, I'm glad that you had that, because I did not have that. I was watching it.
I always do that. I'm always like that.
The thing is, I'm like that with certain things that I watch, but that movie didn't do it for me. I couldn't wait for it to be over. We decided to write notes, and I wrote the most picky notes, like the most. What's the word I'm looking for? Just these. I can't think of the word, but just these picky notes. It was like really just picking at this movie, and couldn't wait for it to be over. I had some moments where I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
But I didn't get the feeling I got from when I first saw it, where I was like, this is so exciting. Yes, the X-Men. And yeah, I'll go into it in a minute. But
yeah.
So structure this.
Yeah. So filming started in mid-1999, and the release date was set for Christmas 2000. But Fox moved X-Men to June because Steven Spielberg had a scheduled film Minority Report to be released in June, but then he chose to film AI, and Fox needed a film to fill the void. This meant that Singer had to finish X-Men 6 months ahead of schedule, although filming had been pushed back. The release date was then moved to July 14th. Critical response. X-Men received positive reviews from critics based on 166 reviews by Rotten Tomatoes. 81% were positive, with an average score of 7.1 out of 10. This is funny. The site's critical consensus. So it reads, faithful to the comics and filled with action.
Faithful to the comics. Who wrote that? Who wrote that? You don't read comics.
This is where you insert the Decepticon noise.
Yeah.
Faithful to the comics.
Yeah. X-Men brings a crowded state of classic Marvel characters to the screen with a talented assembled cast and surprisingly sharp narrative focus.
It's like it's just like whoever wrote that was like, oh, that guy pops claws. That guy shoots lasers from his eyes. Yeah. Comics.
Yeah.
Comics.
Russell Crowe passed on being Wolverine. Suggested, and he actually suggested Hugh Jackman for the role.
That's because Russell Crowe's smart.
Yeah. Both Michael Jackson and Shaquille O'Neal lobbied for parts in the first X-Men movie.
Ooh-wee.
Could you imagine Michael Jackson or Shaquille O'Neal?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Love you, Michael Jackson, but hell no.
Hell no.
And Shaquille O'Neal, take your still ruining basketball dunking self and just stay away from my superhero movies, please. You ruined one. You molested one, in fact. Like, that little boy didn't see it coming. So just stay away from those movies.
Yeah. This is the first film based on a Marvel comic that Stan Lee provides a camo for.
Where? Okay.
This was
go on.
When Kelly came out of the sea.
Oh, I completely, because I was looking out for it. I missed it. I even wrote it down in my notes. No Stan Lee cameo, and I was like,
no, he was there.
Yeah, it was like, oh, I was like, oh, Stan Lee.
Yeah. I missed that completely. That's how uninterested I was. I was like.
All right. Throughout 1989 and the 1990s, Stan Lee and Chris Claremont were in discussions with James Cameron and Coral Pictures for an X-Men film adaptation. The deal fell apart when Cameron went to work on Spider-Man. Kuroko went bankrupt and the film rights reverted to Marvel Studios. In December 1992, Marvel discussed selling the property to Columbia Pictures to no avail. Meanwhile, Avi Arad produced the animated TV series for Fox Kids. That's probably one and only great thing that I think Avi Arad's probably done for us lately. 20th Century Fox was impressed by the success of the TV show, and producer Lauren Schuler Donner purchased the film rights for them in 1994. Andrew Kevin Walker was hired to write the script in early '94. Walker's draft involved Professor X hiring Wolverine into the X-Men, which consists of Cyclops, Jean Grey, Iceman, Beast, and Angel. That would have been sick, because that is the original X-Men.
Should have been in the movie.
Yeah,
even Nightcrawler. Just recruit Nightcrawler. Because technically Logan's already there. He's already in the group.
Yeah.
Involves Logan, Klops, what do you want, Iceman, whatever. Just you can put that.
Put in the new X-Men. So so the Brotherhood of Mutants was which consisted of Magneto, Sabretooth, Toad, and the Blob. Tried to conquer New York City, while Henry Peter Gyrich and Olivia Trask attacked the X-Men with 3 8 feet tall Sentinels.
Sorry, was this the original?
This was Andrew Kevin Walker's drafted script from 1994. Yep, the script focused on the rivalry between Wolverine and Cyclops, as well as the latter's self-doubt as a field leader. Part of the backstory invented for Magneto made him the cause of the Chernobyl disaster. The script also featured the X-Copter and the Danger Room.
Oh my God, I forgot about the Danger Room.
Walker
This hurts my heart.
Yeah. Walker turned in his second draft in June 1994. I don't know why that didn't get made.
What was the problem with that movie? That sounded exactly like the X-Men. I haven't even seen that movie, and that's
what I want to go see.
That's what you want to see. That's what you want to see.
I think Kevin Feige should go back to that. That's oh my days.
That just makes me more angry.
Yeah.
That we didn't get that.
Oh my days. Okay.
All right. So Robert Rodriguez was approached to direct, but turned down the offer. Bryan Singer was looking to do a science fiction film after the release of The Usual Suspects. Fox approached Singer for Alien Resurrection, but producer Tom DeSanto felt X-Men would be a better opportunity, as he was impressed with how Singer directed an ensembled cast in The Usual Suspects. Singer turned down the offer, believing that comic books were unintelligent literature.
Yeah, you know what I was gonna say? I feel like
doesn't hit you.
When you said about how it was true to the comics, about that person said it was true to the comics, that thought popped into my head. Back then, nobody knew what comics were like. I remember I was so looked down on. For reading comics. I remember, say even parents' evening, my teacher's like, "Oh, you should read," and blah 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 blah. And I literally said to my teacher and my mum,
I read comics.
I read a lot of comic books. Yeah, but proper books. But you know when you're like you're 11, 12 and you can't articulate the way you would have like you would do it now. I'll be like, actually, these people have to go to college to learn how to become writers and blah. Do you get what I mean? You don't think to do it. But now, whenever, that's what I say to people now. I even put up, quick rant. I even put up a post once of this really intelligent conversation in comic books, and I posted it and said, "This is what you get in comic books. It's not just pow, yeah, I hit you, you're so evil and I'm gonna destroy." Do you know what I mean? You people need to get you some act right.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Singer had again on this, Singer had further turned down the film another 2 times and finally accepted after reading the comics and watching the animated series. The films of prejudice in the comic resonated with Singer. See, that alone tells you that you know, someone who, I mean, it was a decent film at the time, but
at the time,
this is why you need. He wasn't about that life. It wasn't about that comic life. So
it wasn't.
Yeah. All right, let's get on
Funny
to
how it's funny how nowadays when everybody gets involved in comic book movies, like, oh, because I used to love these when I was young.
that's why you always got to look at people and look them in the eye when they say that. You're like, did you really?
You didn't.
Did you really? Was you really reading comics back in the days?
You weren't reading comics.
Or did you just read one?
Remember what they probably remember watching the cartoon when they were, you know how we watched them, but we carried on watching them throughout our lives. But then you get those people that, I used to watch that when I was like 10, and then they turned 11.
Yeah, that's it.
They turned 11 and that was it. I was like, cool. But anyways, moving on. So apparently, well, he connected with it because he was homosexual rather than being a fan of the source material. That could. Bryan Singer.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing with X-Men as well. That's what resonated with me when I was a kid watching it.
Yeah,
it's that whole being an outcast kind of thing. You know.
Yeah.
It kind of seemed like they were the minority in a sense, where the majority of people hate you and.
Yeah. Definitely, as a black person, you definitely resonated that because you felt like you have power, but then it's just like everybody, not even small, everybody hates you. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. So that's, I think, for in our community, I get that. And obviously, okay, fair enough. This thing, I'm homosexual, I can understand that point too. But still, this a profit margin way because you took bits that you liked and you did that, but then you weren't you were definitely not true to it because that first script that you just read out to me about Danger Room and
that sounds good.
That's pen to paper and that's more exciting than what we saw. Like
pretty much, and that's just a paragraph.
You know what's funny is one of the things I was going to say about this movie is that I don't feel like there were enough X-Men, and I don't feel like there were enough Brotherhood. It was like these two real tiny groups, and just by that 94 script, I'm like, oh, that's where they all are. They're all there.
But
you've got a few, and in this movie, you've got like Wolverine is basically the star.
Yeah.
Rogue has some screen time. You see a little bit of Jean Grey. Cyclops said nothing.
I couldn't.
Nothing. And then Storm started chatting a bit near the end, but
she was shit.
Cyclops
she did. You know what? Watching it the other day, she did have a little bit of an accent. I don't know where that accent was from, but she had a little bit of an accent. The little bits that she did speak.
Good thing she wasn't in Black Panther because oof.
Oh, jeez.
In there.
Okay, so basically, mutation is the key in our evolution. It has enabled us to evolve from a single-celled organism into a dominant species on the planet. This process is slow and normally taking thousands and thousands of years, but every few hundred millennia, evolution leaps forward. So we start off at 1. In Nazi-occupied Poland, 12-year-old Erich Lenscher is separated from his parents upon entering the Auschwitz concentration camp. While trying to reach them, he causes a set of metal gates to bend towards him as a result of his newfound mutant ability to control metal. Soon after, he is knocked out by the guards. In the not too distant future, US Senator Robert Kelly attempts to pass the Mutant Registration Act in Congress, which would force mutants to publicly reveal their identities and abilities. Present are Lenscher, now going by the name of Magneto, and his telepathic colleague, Professor Charles Xavier. Seeing Lenscher in attendance, Xavier becomes concerned with how he will respond to the Registration Act. So, yeah, the first bit.
Started off promising, didn't it?
Yeah.
It started off real promising.
It was.
It was so promising.
That intro was so sick.
Yeah, I had no problems with like so the showing Magneto as a kid, and then being ripped away from his family because we all know that he grew up in a war.
Yeah,
and he was ripped away from his family, and then that obviously it's trauma that causes your mutant abilities to
activate.
Yeah,
and then he's ripped away from his mum, and he's literally trying to rip the gates open. So I thought that was great, and then seeing the summit, and they're just being talked about like, well, how we were, and I just thought it was a really great intro. And then like you said, Charles Xavier goes to have a word with him, and he's like, basically, I ain't having it.
Yeah, I'm a going through this
I'm
again.
not gonna wait for them to, tag me. I've been tagged once before. It's not happening again.
Yeah.
So
and I
it
did
so much potential.
Yeah,
did,
definitely.
sorry, I was gonna say the first intro of seeing Professor Xavier in the chair.
Yeah.
Like when he was coming up towards it, and obviously he's just using. And you're like, he's using his mind.
But that's what I was gonna say. That was the first. That's the first indication of Professor X being a bastard.
Yeah. Because who's he to? What is he gonna do? Go in his head?
Yeah.
And then try to change his mind. That was so.
But we try to. What are you looking for? Hope.
Yeah.
I will bring you hope. Just don't get in my way. That was sick, man.
Yeah, that was great.
Did you mind the casting of Magneto? Because
No,
even though I do love Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
I thought he was slightly too. Not this is gonna sound ageist, but he's.
No,
I was like,
I agree.
Slightly too.
No, I agree with you. That's what I thought as well. I thought he was a bit too skinny as well in my eyes. Like he was a little bit older and a bit too skinny. He didn't really seem threatening, if you know what I mean.
So yeah.
He didn't have that presence on him. He could talk a good talk.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. I mean, there was a couple of other people that they were looking to cast as Magneto. Let me see if I can find it. But Christopher Lee and Terrence Stamp. Yeah, I think
Christopher Lee is like casting Ian McKellen.
Well, yeah.
Flip a coin.
That's it.
Yeah.
Probably even Terrence Stamp. He's more threatening. He looks more menacing.
He is Zod.
Yeah.
Hell, Zod.
Yeah.
Kneel before Zod.
But
he would have been a bit too old back then, though, wouldn't he? They're all of them. They're about the same age or older.
Yeah. He's 80 years old now, so.
Yeah, back then he would have been. Well, I didn't mind the casting of it, especially. I mean, Patrick Stewart's not that much. I mean, they're about the same age anyway.
Yeah.
So it works.
It works for the look of the character. I don't know. Like, I know, like, if it was done today, they probably would have CGI'd to Ian McKellen just a tad, like to kind of give him that.
Like, a little bit extra.
But we've got Michael Fassbender now, so that's probably what they just would have done. Is just hire someone younger.
Yeah.
So,
Michael Fassbender would have been actually quite good.
Yeah, but he would have been way too young. God knows how he would have been back then. Just finishing college or whatever.
One thing I wanted to say as well, because I really did like that intro, and that intro was actually so good. They actually
used it
again in the comics. You could read Magneto Testament, X-Men Magneto Testament. That was in 2009 by Greg Pak and Carmen D. Guy. I can't read his surname.
Just Carmen.
That book is actually pretty good as well.
They should have used that intro in First Class, but we won't talk about that because we're talking about X-Men.
Yeah, they did. I could have sworn they did. That's how
they something like that, but they used the coin thing. They changed it, didn't they?
They changed it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so meanwhile, in Meridina, Mississippi, 17-year-old Marie Canto accidentally puts her boyfriend into a coma after kissing him. Bobby! As a result of her mutant ability to absorb the powers and life force of others, she runs away from home and adopts the name Rogue. In Alberta, she meets Logan, also known as the Wolverine, who possesses superhuman healing abilities with metal claws that protrude from between his knuckles and cannot remember his past. While on the road together, they are attacked by a minion of Magneto's Sabretooth until two of Xavier's students, Cyclops and Storm, arrive and save them. Wolverine and Rogue are brought back to Xavier's mansion and school for mutants in Westchester County, New York. Xavier tells Logan that Magneto appears to have taken an interest in Wolverine and ask him to stay while Xavier's mutants, the X-Men, investigate the matter. Meanwhile, Rogue enrolls in the school. Okay.
Right.
This is how it should have happened. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
This is where things start to get effed up.
Yeah, get messy. Right. Okay, cool. There's a image, there's a little scene of Rogue putting a hand on Bobby. He obviously goes into a car, and boom, we cut to Rogue in the mansion. Yeah, and Storm comes up to her and is like, "Oh, are you okay?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, just flashback of like how I got here." And he goes, "Oh look, we found Logan. Logan's had a moment. Yeah, we found Logan. Okay, we've got to go." Okay, cool. That's how it should have been. And then, but it wasn't. It was some child who's there sucking up powers, sucking up energy, and then she that bit just stressed me out. And then Sabretooth just stressed me out. The introduction of Logan, doesn't matter how you introduce him, it was sick. Like, he's, he's always going to be in some fight, some brawl. So how they introduced him, that was calm. Like, and especially when he got shot. No, he got flung from the car, and he had a head trauma, right? Yeah. When he was like cooking himself back together, I was like, in the cinema, I was like, ooh, yeah. You like, I was excited for that bit.
I was excited when he was sniffing as well, and then Sabretooth came out.
Yeah, Sabretooth shows up. Yeah.
Although he should have actually sniffed her out before, because he was hiding in the back. Time. But okay, for me, it should have been the swing scene, like in the animated series, that she took his powers. And secondly, I don't even think it should be Rogue anyway. I think this character should have been Kitty Pryde for start. This definitely should have been a Kitty Pryde instead of Rogue. Few trivias as well. Rogue didn't have a first name or actually a name until this film. Really?
Because she's Marie in the comics now as well, isn't she?
Yeah, they named her Marie after the film. Sabretooth. What? Do they not know each other? They didn't have that much time to talk because he.
No. Okay. No, they had plenty of time. From when? Right. Okay. How many times have we seen in the comics or the animated series where Logan is standing there and it's like Sabretooth? They had time.
I know it's you, Victor.
Yeah. He's like, come out, Victor. He had time. Yeah. He had time. He's thrown out of a car. He looks at the tree. He looks at the trees blatantly been pushed down, and he's like, "What?" And he's like, "Creed." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So many. That's all they needed. They didn't need any exposition or anything. It's like we didn't need. I haven't seen you in 15 years. I know. Runt. We didn't need any of that. All we needed is Creed. Then for Victor to come out, toss him across, and then say something like, "It's been a long time, Ron." That is it.
Yeah.
We didn't need any more than that. And there's something else. And then you lot said something about Rogue. What did you say about Rogue?
It should have been. It should have been.
No, not even that. Not even just that. It's just she sucks basically.
She's too.
You know, I'm just gonna jump ahead because I couldn't remember what it was I originally wanted to say. But with Rogue, I understand that obviously she couldn't fly and she didn't have super strength because it's more or less an origin story.
Yeah.
What they should have done, where you said it should have been Kitty or even Jubilee, but whatever, where it should have been Kitty, Rogue should have already been there and had it because they can't explain Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel back then for contract reasons. So we should have just had Rogue and either be there with taking people's powers and be able to use them when she wants, or she can fly and do all of that stuff, but they don't need to explain it.
Yeah. No. And I think what probably would have been easier because you've already got the characters there. Have Kitty be the girl that finds Wolverine, right? And they go to the mansion. But then Rogue, she's not a little girl. She's actually a bit older.
Yeah,
she's with Mystique, and then they go. They go to the mansion, right? She tries to enroll Rogue to the mansion, and then she tries to take Wolverine's powers. The kid try and kidnap Wolverine or whatever for this crappy machine that we're going to talk about later anyway. That doesn't make sense.
I was, sorry, I was watching this movie thinking I don't understand what he's trying to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I got back. I was like, what? But anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, instead of it being she's a little girl and come on, man, you can't do Rogue like that.
Rogue
man.
is one of the strongest.
She's an A-list female, man.
Yeah.
One thing that bugs me as well, again, jumping ahead because you've probably got this where you're going to talk about, but where she takes powers, so she takes Wolverine's powers later on.
Yeah.
That scene bugs me because at least whenever Rogue takes somebody's power, she doesn't just take their powers, people. If you didn't notice, she takes literally their life. She takes who they are as a person, as a human being.
Everything.
And I think it would have been so cool to have her take Wolverine's powers, obviously to save her life, but then for like a scene, she just has this bad attitude.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to necessarily go berserk, but just has this bad attitude.
Yeah.
Maybe they could have given some expositions like, "Oh, Logan, I didn't know that you blah blah blah." And he's like, "Huh? Neither did I." There's so much. Much they could have done with that, with Rogue taking her powers.
Yeah.
Even the relationship between Logan and Jean, it would have been funny if, like, you know what I mean, she's coming out of the kitchen at 3 o'clock in the morning because she's just like, she's just hungry. She got like loads of food in her hand, and she sees Jean and she sees Logan, and she just gives like Logan a cheeky smile or one. Then it's like, I know, you know what I mean? Like, not that anybody can't tell, but like just something, because it's just like, it just made her like just so weak, and I'm
so weak, man. She was so weak, and that's what I mean. Like Kitty Pryde, that's probably more of her character,
more her style, because she really had to grow to be that confident character.
Yeah, exactly.
Now. Whereas Rogue, because even when Rogue was a teenager, when you see her, she was always confident.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
She doesn't have no confidence in this. And what irked me the most was when Wolverine escapes from the lab, and then Xavier was actually effing him up to actually go, and he ends up in the school, in the class, in the office.
Yeah.
And you've got Jubilee there, you got Bobby Drake there, you got Pyro, and you got Kitty Pryde's there as well.
Kitty Pryde is there.
She's actually there. Yeah.
So they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing. They knew of her anyway. They should know of her. But then when they're talking to each other, Cyclops comes in, and then Jean comes in, and he goes, what do they call you? Wills? Like that's all right, fair enough. But then he goes, oh, so there's someone called Sabretooth? And that's when I was like,
yeah. He was like, yeah. Because up until that moment, we could have thought, oh, they knew each other. Like you said, they didn't.
Yeah.
There was time, but we had hope that he could be like, yeah, I recognize, but he didn't. He's like, Sabretooth.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? They have such a complex history.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Why would you do that? And this is, I don't want to go into like all the other movies, so I'm not going to touch on anything specific, but they do it in every movie where there's something there, but they don't touch on it.
They don't do it. Yeah.
It's like, it's so frustrating.
Brothers, you're gonna let them kind of talk to each other, like Xavier and Kane Marco, like that, for instance.
Oh God, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's always there's another example.
Senator Kelly is abducted by 2 more of Magneto's minions.
Sabretooth was not being called a minion, by the way. Sabretooth was just not. He works for people for his own reasons, but a minion.
Exactly.
Even Mystique isn't going down as a minion. But anyway.
Toad and Mystique, and is brought to their hideout on the uncharted island of Genosha. There, Magneto uses Kelly as a test subject for a machine powered by his magnetic abilities that generates a field of radiation, inducing mutation in normal humans. Kelly later escapes by taking advantage of his newfound mutation. When Rogue uses her power on Wolverine after he accidentally stabs her, she is convinced by Mystique, who disguises herself as Rogue's crush, Bobby Drake, that Xavier is angry with her and she should leave the school. Xavier uses his mutant locating machine Cerebro to find Rogue at the train station, and the X-Men go to retrieve her. Meanwhile, Mystique enters Cerebro and sabotages it. Okay.
Right. So can I please go first? Can I please go first?
Go on.
Right. With I forget what we say so quickly. With
Senator Kelly.
Senator Kelly. Yeah. Senator Kelly. Thank you. Right. Now, in the Marvel universe, when you give someone abilities that don't have abilities, are they at that point now known as mutates?
Right.
Where was that?
Right.
Where was that?
Secondly, to piggyback you off that,
yeah,
if they are not doing the story that we read earlier, and they're doing this story, it shouldn't be Magneto. It should be Sinister doing all this.
Yeah, it should be Sinister.
Why is
Magneto creating mutates?
That's not his thing. That's not his thing.
It is so far from.
I'm in so much pain right now because I had to watch the film again and it hurt me. And
yeah.
now I'm just dissecting it and I'm just like.
Right. The other thing was, what was the second thing you said? It was in my notes.
Toad and Mystique being minions of Magneto.
No.
Genosha. Test subjects. Machine powered. Kelly escaping.
No. Oh God, what was it? Hang on a sec.
Rogue using her powers on Wolverine.
Right, Rogue. This fool. So she's stabbed by Wolverine. She uses her powers to save herself. She would have been told by Wolverine, "Oh, it's okay, don't worry about it." She would have been. Who else came into the room? Storm came to the room.
Yeah,
Storm?
And some other kids. A lot of kids came in. Man.
I imagine that she would have been told. She would have been spoken to by Xavier. Xavier is not just gonna. She's got these new people. He's got these new people in his house. Yeah. He's gonna talk to them. So I'd imagine they would have said, "Hey, it's okay. We understand what you had to do." She then is sitting having her lunch or whatever, or daydreaming about what knows, and is told by some kid who's not even like an X-Man, who for some reason, again, that's a thing on his own. He's not even an X-Man. He's not even like up there. He's not a teacher. Oh, Professor X is furious with you.
Yeah,
you should leave. You should go on the streets again. And she doesn't even think.
She's weak.
She doesn't even think to go and speak to one of the adults.
Yeah.
Like, do you know if you're at school and a student says you do something stupid and it's like, oh, the head teacher is furious, you should go. You're not gonna go talk to a teacher or talk to whatever adult is around. You're gonna listen to
bearing in mind she is 17 years old still, so
but yeah,
and that's old enough.
What irks me about that scene as well is that everybody's a mutant. So how can you be scared if you're a mutant of other mutants? Sorry, look, my phone's upset. Like, like everybody's in the same boat. Like, no one should have been like shook about her power.
Yeah.
If anything, they should have burst in the room and been like, "Oh my God, Rogue, are you okay?"
Yeah.
No one had any compassion. I'm just like,
yeah, that's true.
That's it. It's like a surprise. It's like, oh, what's going on? How did you?
I'm pretty sure that
I didn't know you could do that.
People have had mishaps. I'm pretty sure that, you know what I mean. Iceman has probably frozen someone before, or you know what I mean. Like,
that must have happened. Come on.
I must say though. All right, let's look. I must say, let's not kick this film in the butt too much, but the combo that Mystique gave Kelly while he was in the helicopter, that was pretty sick.
Oh yeah, do you know what? I actually didn't have a problem with Mystique. I just think like she needed to be a bit more ferocious. She needed to just a bit more calculated. Do you get what I mean? And just a bit more vicious. But she didn't. That's not her fault. That was just bad writing. But I feel like Mystique was one of the ones that was okay about the movie. And
what did upset me was when they went to Genosha, and Magneto explains to Kelly that the guy that Mystique was Henry Gyrick, and he's dead now. So
he's dead now. To
me, that's like, wait a minute. Those Sentinels. Oh my God. It was like a Jimmy Olsen scene in in Justice League.
Yeah.
Where it's like he just dies off screen kind of thing, man. It's like, this guy's an important character in the comics, man.
That's why they... Anyway, we were not talking about the other movies. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So, also, how does that machine work? I don't know. I don't know how that machine works.
What is it like? Okay, Magneto's only sole purpose is to recruit other people who feel disenfranchised, who don't want to follow the norm. He's creating his own tribe.
Yeah.
Utopia.
When has Magneto been like, I'm gonna build a machine and
change
F up
people?
people's genetics? No, he's been like, go out and recruit the angriest mofos you can find and bring them here, and I'm gonna let them out on the streets and they can just tear up everything. Like,
yeah.
What? No.
Okay, so yeah, that's.
Oh, and one more thing. Sorry. I have to say this. Yeah, sorry, I have to say this. Okay, so one other thing about the machine. So Magneto's ability is to be able to move anything that's metal. Why did you need to be in the machine if you can move it around? I don't understand.
Yeah.
If you can make it spin without being in it, why'd you have to be in it? I don't get it.
So
carry on.
We've got Magneto being Sinister in this movie, and we've got Senator Kelly changing into Mr. Fantastic. So he another thing as well, Mystique sneaking in to the mansion with at least 2 Omega level psychics in there. So her sneaking in and getting into Cerebro, that's a bit weird as well. I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
I think the world's greatest sniffer dog, and 2 psychics.
Like, yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
And how she knew, I don't know, how she knew I don't know how his eyes were and all that.
Yeah, because I thought that scene. I remember looking at that scene where she turned into Xavier, and I was like, okay, yeah, you look like him, but how do you know that his eyes are? You got his eyes so precise. How did you do that? Because I thought that was strange. Like, he could have a mole on the right side of his chest.
Yeah.
Would she have had that? How would you know that he has that?
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? How can you get his eyes so precise?
Naked pictures and all that, man.
Did you get what I mean? It was my point is, using the mole as an example, it was too precise.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I thought if it was like, I don't know, that was too much for me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and it proves that point as well. It proves your point as well, because in the scene where Logan is with her and he can sniff
her out,
smells different.
Yeah.
Nothing about her is exactly like the person. It's just the kind of
it's visual. It's visual.
It's visual. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, anyway, what's next? Because we're
okay. Having left the head of Storm and Cyclops, Wolverine finds Rogue on a train and convinces her to return to the school. Before they can leave, however, Magneto arrives and incapacitates Wolverine by controlling the metal bonded to his skeleton. Although Xavier attempts to stop Magneto by mentally controlling Sabretooth, he is forced to release his hold on Sabretooth when Magneto threatens the police, who have converged on the train station, allowing Magneto's Brotherhood to escape with Rogue. Kelly arrives at Xavier's school, and Xavier reads his mind to learn about Magneto's machine. Realizing the strain of power in it nearly killed Magneto, the group deduces he intends to transfer his powers to Rogue and use her to power it at the cost of her life. Kelly's body rejects his mutation, and his body dissolves into the liquid. Xavier attempts to locate Rogue using Cerebro, but Mystique sabotage incapacitates him, and he falls into a coma. Fellow telekinetic and telepath Jean Grey fixes Cerebro and uses it, learning that Magneto plans to place his mutation-inducing machine on Liberty Island and use it to mutate the world leaders meeting at the summit nearby Ellis Island. Meanwhile, Wolverine is still tied up, but Storm rescues him. The X-Men scale the Statue of Liberty, battling the Brotherhood, while Magneto transfers his powers to Rogue and activates the mutation machine. As Wolverine confronts and distracts Magneto, Cyclops blasts him away, allowing Wolverine to destroy the machine. He transfers his powers to Rogue, and his healing abilities rejuvenate her while incapacitating himself.
Right. Okay. I like the scene on the train. I like the scene on the train where Magneto uses his abilities on Wolverine, because I felt like that was something that should have been done more in the cartoon.
Yeah.
So that was cool. The scene at the train station, I really didn't like, because this is the Brotherhood of Mutants, and even at the Statue of Liberty, this is the Brotherhood of Mutants meets, you know, the X-Men. Finally, they're gonna brawl.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen.
It didn't happen. No.
It didn't happen. There's
a couple of good scenes where Sabretooth was like, "Scream for me," and when I like the scene when Toad took the glasses off and he just went.
Yeah, that was cool. But that's all. Like, it's like, did you notice we didn't really see Cyclops do anything besides that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just didn't. I remember watching this movie and it's like, where is the Brotherhood and where are the X-Men? Why isn't there, like? Remember Avengers, how sick that was when they meet each other and they fight, and then you've got is it the Chitauri? The Chitauri, and they're just murking Chitauri in the invasion. There's this big fight scene. There was no big fight scene at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was it was. What were they doing? What were they doing? Where was the action? It occurred to me that this movie is an action movie with no action.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
And as well, like Jean Grey and Storm are never on the ground. They're hardly on the ground. Like when it comes to being in the field, they're hardly on the ground.
Yeah.
And I know, like in this film, Halle Berry was pregnant, and I was like, all right, cool.
No, it wasn't this one.
Was it? Was it two?
It was two.
Was it two?
I think.
Okay.
It was two.
Oh, okay, cool. But it was just like, well, then that's even more of an excuse. Then you should have been flying all over the damn place.
Yeah.
Because, like she flies. She flies, and it's just like, even if Sabretooth had you by the throat, you just go up because you have.
You got the power to do it.
I was watching it thinking, they keep using her lightning, okay, but I felt like Storm was very, very underpowered.
Yeah, definitely.
To me, Storm is like one of the most. She controls the freaking weather.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the only way they thought, oh, she controls the weather. I don't know what to do. This woman has tornadoes. She has giant hailstorms. There's so much they could have done. Nope, lightning. Very original.
One thing that could have happened, and this is why they probably shouldn't have used Magneto as well, was when Magneto is on the train with Wolverine and he tries to attack him, Magneto could have just ripped out of his adamantium.
Yeah.
Like in X-Men 25.
Yeah.
Fatal Attraction, and he just takes out his skeleton, basically. Kelly dies as well. Senator Kelly dies, so that means there's no chance, like the animated series where Gambit is accused of killing him.
Yeah.
And then we have Bishop coming back from the future.
Not just that, but even the one thing I was thinking is like, although he kind of he didn't get that compassion that he learns in the comics and cartoons. He didn't learn his lesson. He didn't learn to understand. He just died. He died what he hated, if that makes sense. And I didn't agree with that. It wasn't real compassion. It was like, I didn't like that.
It's a bit shit. I do like the speech that Storm Logan says to Storm after the train station thing. He's like, help us, fight with us. And Logan's like, fight with you, join a team, but be an X-Men. Who the hell do you think you are? You're a mutant. The whole world out there is full of people who hate and fear you, and you're wasting your time trying to protect them. I've got better things to do. That's one thing like I did like about Jackman's character. He's like, he still had that don't give a fuck attitude.
He was very Wolverine. He was very Wolverine. I have no beef with Hugh Jackman. I think a lot of people did have problems with Hugh Jackman. I thought he was great. I think
I thought he was
besides his height, he was fine, man. He was great. Perfect even.
And
perfect, but oh lord. Okay.
And the Blackbird scene, it's like
the Blackbird scene. I remember being in the cinema thinking, that wouldn't work. A little bit so no, if we've seen all that stuff in the Avengers and all that, it works.
It works.
Even the X-Men First Class, it works. I don't know what they were thinking.
Exactly.
And it didn't even necessarily have to be the bright yellow ones. There's like the blue ones as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
They could have adapted it better.
Yeah, that was terrible. Terrible.
So the fight inside the Statue of Liberty.
What fight?
What do you guys? Okay, so we had the fight with Wolverine and Mystique.
That was all right.
That was good.
We had
a good fight.
Toad spitting in Jean's face.
That was funny.
Oh, nasty, man.
And I don't understand how that was because she could anyway carry on.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Storm and Sabretooth, I think they were fighting again.
Was it Storm and Toad when she comes
Storm
to
and
the
Toad.
Yeah, Storm. Actually, yeah.
I don't know where Sabretooth was at that point. Actually, no, he was with Magneto, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
I hated that elevator scene. I was like, that is not Storm. That is not Storm.
Again, that line. You know that line that she has. What's up with that line?
What was it?
Do you know what she's like? Do you know what happens? Do you know what happens to a toad when it gets struck by lightning? I remember being on the edge of my seat, like, what?
I think, you know what? That was from Joss Whedon, I think. I think that was something that Josh Whedon had in the script still. It left in the script. Yeah.
No, Joss Whedon. You're better than that. That was a bad line.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness to Joss Whedon, sometimes I'll be listening to my favorite rappers who their lyrics can be on point, and I'll hear like a really bad line, like, ugh.
Yeah.
It happens.
I like the bit where he's like, where they go off fighting, and then he comes back and he's like, "How do we know it's you?" And he's like, "You're a dick."
Yeah. Or when he walks through the metal detectors and it goes off, and they're trying to do stealth, and he's like,
yeah.
That was very Wolverine. I love that. That was this movie had its moments, people. It had its moments, but they were very far and few between.
Yeah, definitely. I liked the bit where Magneto captures them and they're all on the wall because that
was good. Yeah,
that was good. Was cool. That reminded me of that Sinister scene from the animated series.
Oh, where they're on the island.
Yeah. And then Jean uses her telepathy to lift up his glasses, and he shoots. That scene was that scene was sick in the cartoon, but on here it was a bit. And then even using like, I don't know why Jean couldn't like.
Jean could have done a lot more than she did.
Metal.
Yeah, she could have moved Wolverine.
This is what I'm saying. I don't mean to go into a movie later. We'll talk about it when we get to it. But in one movie, he says to her, you know, I can move the metals in this, but you can move everything with a mere thought.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So where was that? And it's the same guy. It's like it's not two different characters. It's like the same two characters. Yeah. And then she's like, "Oh no, I'm stuck. I'm telekinetic and I can move things, but we're stuck. Yeah. What are we gonna do?" And I'm like, "Move it."
Like,
use your mind.
Like, even if Jean's like, oh, because obviously they made her like really prissy, don't know really how I'm using my powers, kind of thing. But her initial reaction for things, like when she's just reacted, it stopped stuff. So even that part where Toad spits at her, her mental reaction is faster than that. Freezing.
It's true.
You know what I mean, kind of thing. And I'm just like, how?
Do you know? What? Yeah, for me, I didn't really like that actress playing her. Not that I don't like her. The only thing was because she was too much of because she was in GoldenEye, wasn't she? And I just had her in my she was the villain in GoldenEye.
Oh damn.
Yeah, so I just had that in my mind all the time while watching it.
Besides that, I only remember her from Nip Tuck, where she played the man.
Oh yeah.
Every time I look at her, I think about when the guy was like, "Oh, no wonder she was so strong."
Okay, see, this is how you know a film wasn't that good, because when we mentioned the word nip tuck, everybody's like, "Oh my dick." We want to talk about that rather than this. That's too much.
Let's nip that.
All right. Okay. One other thing. It seemed like this whole film was to get Rogue her grey hair at the end.
This movie is basically the origin of the white streak.
Exactly.
Please let that be the name of this title.
Origin of the White Streak.
White.
Yeah.
O-M.
I mean, it's true. I mean, because that was one of the first things I thought when the movie stopped. Well, she was the one.
Near the end.
I was like, "Where's a white streak?
Yeah.
Why did that need an origin?" I can't stand it when these movies do stuff like this.
I know.
It's unnecessary.
It was a waste of valuable time and effort.
It was a waste of CGI. It's like, we really want to use the CGI. It's new. You know, we want to show the people what we can do with this. Which I can't even bother to go into that. Should we go into the machine?
Yeah.
No. The saber tooth and the Wolverine fight. They break out. Blah blah blah. That happens.
Oh yeah.
So the saber tooth and the Wolverine fight. I remember. I feel like I saw the whole fight in the trailers. To be honest.
Yep.
It's a shit fight
I mean?
between two strangers, man. That's all it was.
It was. All it is that he gets thrown off. He uses his claws and swings back around, and he does the pose.
Yeah.
And then he gets shot by a Cyclops? Is that what happens?
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, that was Toad.
No,
it wasn't.
No.
Yeah.
It was a crap fight.
Yeah.
It was rubbish.
Yeah.
Somehow Sabretooth got beaten. I can't remember how. It was a crap fight.
Yeah.
And they didn't know each other.
And
go on, I'm done.
Go on.
No, and I was gonna say another thing about Jean. Sorry, she held Wolverine up to destroy the machine, so she's holding matter and metal at the same time.
No. It was she was
Storm.
stabilizing him.
Yeah, it was Storm.
She should have killed him.
Yeah,
but she could have done it by herself. Really,
she could have done it by herself.
You didn't need Storm.
To be honest, besides Wolverine, probably besides Wolverine and Xavier, everyone was underpowered.
Yeah,
everyone was underpowered. Because Rogue couldn't do anything. Clearly, Jean couldn't do anything. Storm couldn't do anything. Magneto apparently either needs a machine to do what he needs to do, or someone younger. So he couldn't do anything.
Oh, why'd you need to be in the machine when you can power a machine from outside?
Nobody could do it. I need to throw out a quick something that I forgot to say earlier as well. Just quickly going back. When Jean used Cerebro, it would have been hilarious if when she got hurt, there was a Jean-gasm. It would have been so funny. Because she was just like, nothing happened.
Oh, she was a bit like, oh. And then Cyclops came in and took it off her. And
he did nothing. What was he in the movie for?
I don't know, man.
What was he in the movie?
That's what he does, because whenever she's around, he's around.
That's all it is.
That's it.
Yeah, that's the one thing I want to say. Thank you, Isha. He lurked all the time. He was always lurking round corners, round doors. He just lurked. It was irritating. He was just some sort of lurker. I didn't like it.
And how is
lurking around?
How come Jean looked like more or less the same kind of age as Wolverine, and then you got some young man. That's the couple didn't look good, man.
Nah, he looked shorter than her.
Yeah, it did.
Did you know it's obviously
younger?
Yeah. Did you know it's obviously Hugh Jackman is quite tall.
Yeah.
When she was standing with Hugh Jackman, they were pretty much on par, but then Cyclops was like standing like that team.
Yeah,
so that didn't look good.
Yeah, it was distracting. It was distracting. Yeah. Okay, Professor Xavier and Wolverine recover from their comas. The group also learned that Mystique escaped the island battle and is impersonating Senator Kelly. Xavier gives Wolverine a lead up to his past at an abandoned military installation in Canada. Magneto is imprisoned in a complex constructed of plastic and is visited by Xavier. And Magneto warns him he intends to escape one day to continue the fight. End movie.
The ending was all right in like that part where Wolverine takes off. He's learned something. So Wolverine had a checkered past, even that was cool. That he's like, okay, I can finally learn something.
They should have continued. Like they should have just made a Wolverine movie after that, and then
it would have made more sense.
Yeah.
X-Men 2 was pretty much a Wolverine movie anyway.
Exactly.
But we can go into that later next time.
My brain hurts
already. The scene with Xavier and Magneto in the prison, I liked. I kind of just like the conversations that these two have. It seems like if you think of the beginning of the movie, where it was like, oh, this has potential.
Yeah.
So it's up here, and then the movie happens, and then again back in the prison, there's the potential. Those are the best parts of the movie. Just those two talking. I could have just done with that movie of them playing chess.
Yeah, literally, and just bare flashbacks of like how they got their X-Men, and then the next movie is actually seeing the X-Men or the Brotherhood. You know what I mean? That would be perfect. But
I mean, for me, I think. So I think for me, I even when the first time I watched it, I wanted Bobby Drake to have more presence. I wanted Warren Worthington there. I wanted Hank McCoy there. That would have been just those guys, you know, the original 5.
Can I say something on Bobby Drake real quick? It kind of leads into the next movie, but just briefly, it looks like when they introduced him, that he was that class clown, that playful prankster kid in this movie. And then when you see him later on, where was that personality?
Yeah, it's totally different.
Completely changed. But another time we'll go heavy into it. I just want to make that known now. But yeah, everybody, that was the first X-Men movie. Go and watch it and tell us what you think.
No.
Yes.
Watch the TV show.
It does make me want to watch that animated again, man.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Wash the movie out of my mind.
One thing
that never got made.
One thing that I think was great that came from this movie, and you lot might disagree, but I think it was great. X-Men Evolution. I think that was a great series. Seriously, watch it again. I think that was a really good show. It was obviously them in high school, which the X-Men were kids when it started out anyway, and it had, you know, the relation. This is another thing actually I was going to say about the Brotherhood of Mutants. Actually, the Brotherhood. Sorry, Wanda and Peter should have been in that movie. I thought it would have been good if it was say there was this rivalry between Sabretooth and Quicksilver. They're going out and doing these missions, and Quicksilver always fails Magneto, but Sabretooth gets it right. That would have been great to see. Or Mystique gets it right, but there was just none of that where you get that kind of stuff in X-Men Evolution.
I think Mystique should be like the characters in the comics where she is with him, but she's not following.
She's on her own. She's on her own. She's got her own agenda.
Exactly.
She always had her own agenda.
She's a shapeshifter. She's mysterious. She's always, you know.
She's Mystique.
Exactly. You know.
Mystique always had her own agenda. She didn't care who she was working for. Remember in the cartoon, if I'm getting this right, where she was working, it looked like she was working with Magneto, but she was working for Apocalypse.
Exactly.
That was such a sick turnaround. That was a sick turnaround. She's like, because he owns me. I'm like, damn.
I mean, it's good for the sense that it did start off this whole comic book movie. Comic book.
Well, you know what? No, I renounced that. I feel like it made people pay attention, but it will always give Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes, black man did that ish.
No, it's true because Spawn, Blade.
It was those ones.
Meteor Man. Don't care what you say. Quote me. Those
Meteor
were the
Man
films. And as well, Daredevil, but we won't go into that. But like, you know what I mean? Like that were there. That were out.
In terms of Marvel, I'm just gonna give it to Blade, Wesley Snipes. But I feel like that was a black dude. And you know, everything gets popular when white media gets a hold of it. Is basically what it is. So no offense out there. I'm just saying.
No, but it's true. It's true.
So X-Men came out. It made people pay attention. Is what I'm saying.
The joke is like, if it had come out now under Marvel, we as comic book fans would have been elated with happiness because it would have been for us. This was again some guy who picked up a this is
he didn't read a comic.
He didn't read it. I think he might have watched a couple of episodes of the cartoons and just like, all right, cool.
There you go.
Jot them some notes.
What he thought this was, you know what I mean? And you will be like, oh, I resonate with it. I'm like, you're not about it. You're not about it. And this film showed that.
I would say that for me, I think X-Men definitely should be a series. It shouldn't be a film.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, I heard you say that before. You said it quite a few times, and when I was watching it, I actually meant to say that. I think that was in my notes. When I was watching it the other night, I was like, yeah, there's so much in here. It's not like doing Spider-Man. It's
no, you're not following one character. One thing that the Avengers had a advantage of is that they had their separate films. So you got time to get to know one character, get to know what their, you know, their personality, their persona, their why they're doing it, and things like that. The X-Men, you've got. I mean, look, this is my little collection here, and how many of them are there? You can't do a film and expect what 5 minutes screen time, 10 minutes screen time. It should be a series, and a damn good series, a Game of Thrones type of contending series.
There you go.
You know,
it would have been so. It would be so good. Do you know what?
So, sorry, just to interrupt you again. Like, I've got my fingers crossed that this Star Wars anthology and what they're doing at DC influences the whole thing. So hopefully that these Star Wars anthologies will be serialized and they got time to actually get a story together and realize. I hope these guys realize that the X-Men needs to be a TV series, man. It just needs to be.
Yeah. Having said that, I'm grateful we got it. like you said, it was, you know, instrumental in what we've got now. You know what I mean? It spawned off sequels, and I enjoyed all the sequels at the time. We got Spider-Man, which I enjoyed at the time. Then we got Fantastic Four. We got Daredevil. All these movies. Well, Daredevil I never enjoyed at the time at all. That was just flat out. But it just carried on.
Don't need to be in no superhero movie.
The boom got bigger. Then we got the Hulk movie. Then we got Iron Man, and then from Iron Man, you know what I mean? So it spawned some great.
Sorry, Sean's saying that same thing I said about the Inhumans. Look how that turned out. No, this is X-Men's different from Inhumans. One thing, they need to do the budget of Game of Thrones. Like, they need to spend money on this, like literally. And it doesn't even have to be that technical either. As long as the story's there, then you know. Use things from the film, use props from the films, you know.
Yeah, it's such a shame.
Just make it about the X-Men, not one character.
I feel like
not Wolverine and the X-Men.
I feel like
Mystique and the X-Men.
I feel like if Kevin Feige does decide to do it as a series of movies again, I think it will. Even though it would benefit it more to be a TV show, like a long-running series, I still feel like if Kevin Feige got his hands on it, movie-wise, it would still be a lot better than what we've got. In my opinion, I think we'd enjoy it. I don't think we'd be complaining as much.
Actually, now that you said that, they made me think. Maybe that's why they're planning on doing the Loki and Scarlet Witch series, maybe to test out the waters.
Probably, maybe. When you were saying it just now, I had that thought. To be honest, they were testing it out. We'll see. We don't know what the future holds.
Sinister knows what the future holds.
Nice. I can't believe I said that.
Okay,
that was a nice little set. But what was I going to say? I'm just in high hopes for now that Disney has Fox, or this aspect of Fox. I'm in really, really high hopes of what's to come. We can tear all these movies apart, and by the time we're done, we'll probably get something good.
It has to, man. It has to. It's just like everything else, apart that Daredevil the film, has been of some standard. You know what I mean? Like, something in there that is obviously just resonating with the characters. X-Men's the only one that hasn't gelled. X-Men is the biggest one that is, you know what I mean, is instrumental in Marvel. You know what I mean? So it's just like, come on, you got to get it together.
They need to get it right. I mean, even with the Avengers, the way that they done the Avengers, it's not to the T of the comics, but it is in a way that you're like, oh yeah, it's not the comics, but
Yeah.
the story's pretty dope.
works.
Yeah,
Things are happening.
it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we will always say that they effed up X-Men. This is why Infinity War was how it was, even though Infinity War was sick. But can you imagine what it'd be like? Fantastic Four, X-Men in it.
Man.
I mean, that goes the same for like Age of Ultron. Do you know what I mean? There was so much left out of Age of Ultron. I just found out the other day, to be honest, that Age of Ultron was adapted from a different comic that had Ultron in it. So I don't know why they didn't use that title, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. One last thing. What do we give this movie out of 5 nerds?
5 nerds.
Back then, what did you give it?
I probably would have given it like a 4 or 3.
I think
yeah.
I'm younger than you, so my excitement level would have been different.
Yeah.
I think I probably would have given it 4.
I would have nerded out on it.
Yeah, I think I would have given it about 4.5 back then. Today, I'm gonna try my best to be generous. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked Xavier. I liked Wolverine, and the conversations between Xavier and Magneto were good. So I'm gonna give that 2.5.
You took the words right out of my mouth. There's a Richard like one.
Yeah, I would give it. I would have given it. No, I would have given it 1.5. But watching it over, I did see some potential in it. It could have went places, and it didn't. They messed up a few things. Only a couple of things they could have done to make it better, even better. Wolverine knowing who Sabretooth is, swapping around different characters, using Kitty Pryde instead of Rogue, because that character is Kitty Pryde. It's not Rogue. Even when they're on the train, and Wolverine's giving her that little pep talk, that's him giving Kitty Pryde that pep talk. So they had the idea, but it wasn't. They didn't pull it off. So I would have given it 1.5, but after watching it again, I'm giving it 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah.
So basically, should we just round it up to a 2?
Yeah.
So you gives it a 2.
We need to do proper calculations for it. Yeah. Give it a sourceful total.
Sourceful total is we're rounding it.
To a 2. All right. Cool. So until the next film.
Yes. The next film. Oh, and people, it's the 17th of October. Know that next week.
Comic-Con. Yeah, we'll be there.
Yeah.
Really.
So,
should be exciting.
Yeah.
It should be good. But yes, thank you for joining us. Until next week.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, man. Meow.
Cheers, guys.